Call this common council workshop to session. If you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Call to order. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Proceed to roll call, Clerk Treasurer Aldrich.
Carol Pearson. Brian Garrison.
Present.
Richard Traeger.
Present.
Mike Shockley.
Present.
Dan Stewart.
Here.
Does the schedule look amenable to everybody? All right. If so, we'll start with Judge Wellness in the Court Department. That is on, I believe it's page 21 of the budget proposal. And Judge, you can chime in at any time. In this proposed budget, we've got an increase in the judge's salary to make it equal to that of the council members' salaries. We've got a decrease in city court clerk's salary, which will be moved into various line items. One in the clerk department, one in water, one in sewer. Clerk bonus is removed. Miscellaneous supplies, judge is decreased by $600 to $200. Miscellaneous is kept the same. School is decreased by $400 to $200, and court bond. Wayne and I changed this. We changed it to 200 after we met because
Is it going up?
I believe. Do you have anything further you'd like to say about your budget?
The only other single item is that there is a city and town court judges association, and the annual dues for that are $50, but that could come out of miscellaneous. But I would like to belong to that.
How many cases do you hear a year, or how many month or week, whatever? Whatever you can.
Thinking average wise, 12 to 15 a month.
A month.
And you're meeting weekly now, correct?
Yes, meeting weekly now.
Because the caseload was such, or what? Why did you decide to make it?
I decided to do it weekly rather than, used to be first and third Tuesdays, is now every Tuesday. Actually, to make it easier on the ticketing officers, that they didn't have to look to see what was the first or second, just any Tuesday. And like tomorrow, there are no cases tomorrow, but there were 4 or 5 last Tuesday.
Well, I have the last year's budget of what was brought in. And certainly, the state gets the lion's share of what comes in. The county gets a share, and the city gets a share. The cities being the smallest, of course. Is that right? City, county,
Yes.
state, and then totals.
The fines for city code violations all stay with the city. The court costs are divided between the state, the county, and the city, and we get the smallest of the 3.
I think for every one of those cases, it's either $4 or $8 is what we get. The rest is taken by the county and state. So you got $171 fine, and how much of that's court cost?
135.
So out of that 135, the city gets either $4 or $8. Donna would have to pay.
If it's a moving violation, it's $135.50. If it's a city code violation, it's $135. I don't know I forget where the 50 cents goes.
Not through the county or state.
But not all ordinance violations have court costs assigned to them, so parking tickets don't have court costs assigned. So the $15 for a parking ticket.
That stays here.
Stays 100% city. Same when we were doing trash can ordinance big, I think that was $20, that stayed with the city. And you didn't have to pay the $135 on top of it.
I'm struggling with this much of an increase on the salary for the judge, though. I mean, with those figures. I don't know. It seems like an exorbitant amount for what we're doing. No disrespect for you in
I understand.
any way, shape, or form.
I think one thing to note is that the state law changed in the last few years. Judge Weckley was city court judge for a long time, but he was not a licensed attorney. State statute requires, unless you were grandfathered in, that you be a licensed attorney. So Judge Wellman does have professional fees that you have to pay to renew your license every year. That's correct.
I keep the license active so that I can be judge. It's $180 a year to be certified by the Supreme Court. I do not ask the city to do that.
Well, I would sooner pay that than increase the salary by almost 50%, just from the taxpayer standpoint of trying to be good stewards of the budgetary monies. I would say we could even add into miscellaneous or something, the cost that you incur to keep that license.
On page 5 of the appropriation report, it looks like there was $200 encumbered over. Is that right? In miscellaneous? Am I reading that right?
I don't think so. No, that was what was budgeted.
No.
We didn't encumber anything out of city court.
What we brought in for the city was $31,8450, and the budget was $51,71. So if that is any indication of where we are.
The current budget proposal for that department is $4,665.
I was referring to the 2017. I figure for the 2018 as well. It's 49.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to paying that renewal fee. But I can't see my way to doing that big of an increase on the salary.
I would agree with that.
So.
So you're saying no increase?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, he's doing
That
it
is-
50 weeks a year.
That increase. That big of an increase.
What increase are we talking about?
Well, everybody's, pretty much the standard for the employees is 2%, is that correct?
Correct.
So if we raised miscellaneous to 400 and took the standard 2% increase on pay, how would that sound?
2% from 2018 would be $2,653.02.
2001?
$2,653.02. Judge, how many hours do you think you work a week on average?
It's easier to figure monthly.
How many hours a month would you?
Hang on just a second. I would say 12 hours a month.
With that rate of $2,653, you'd be making about $18.42 an hour.
I haven't done the math.
I just did the math, so I know it wasn't supposed to be a question. That's a recommendation from the council.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And once again, sorry, the procedure of this, the budget proposal is still proposed by the department heads and the mayor, submitted to Gateway. At that point, then the council has an opportunity to amend the budget. Today is a workshop that allows, I guess, more formal documents of how to amend the budget. Give some knowledge of those, so, and majority votes, amendments will be prepared unless I change the budget proposal before I submit it. Is there anything?
So are we gonna increase the miscellaneous or anything so we can maintain the license?
That's what it said.
The 400, is it?
Was that motion for both of them?
That's what I thought.
Any other line items within the city court department council would like to discuss?
So you're increasing miscellaneous supplies and miscellaneous, or what?
Just miscellaneous for
Just
400.
miscellaneous, okay, that's what.
And the 2019 salary is 265302.
I thought if it were a public meeting, then votes could be taken as long as there weren't minutes.
Oh, votes can, you guys can vote all you want, but we're not at a point where a budget has even been proposed, so amendments can be made to the budget that hasn't been formally proposed. Are there any other line items within the court department that would like discussion? Judge, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. Mr. Nagel, coming in, not starting a week early. With common council, this is Mr. Ed Nagel. He's the incoming airport manager. Mr. Nagel, would you like to give a brief introduction and tell the council about yourself?
Well, I'm officially become the airport manager next week. So, and the mayor has prepared a budget for me, and that, with all the experience I have here so far, I guess I'm gonna have to accept it the way he's got it down here. But, been involved in aviation since back in the 60s. Been involved in our city council in Angola, Indiana for 28 years. So I kind of put the two together and figured we might be able to make the airport go, make it a profitable operation. So,
So you moved to
any
the,
questions or?
you
Yeah.
moved to the area, I assume?
Yes, we did, I did. And was talking with Jason and talked about he was leaving and needed somebody. And I've always liked being around airplanes, so there was quite a few people out there looking at airplanes last weekend too. So it was a very good day, perfect weather, and when you do them things, that weather is a major factor on that all the time. And the mayor, he worked very hard, shuttling people.
That's an easy job.
He earned his keep on Saturday. Yeah. I'll answer any questions anybody's got. I mean,
I guess we'll do a brief overview of how it's changed between 18 and 19. I put in 2% increase for airport manager, increased 500 on the mowing contract based on where we were about halfway through the year. Kept airport fuel the same, increased airfield lighting supplies by 1,000. Double consulting and marketing, a lot of that goes towards the fly-in, drive-in, which has been pretty good success in the last 2 years. Building insurance stayed the same, liability insurance stayed the same, telephone increased by 200 based on expenditures. Electric increased by 250 based on expenditures. Gas and propane stayed the same, miscellaneous maintenance stayed the same. Miscellaneous upgrades, there's an increase of 2,500. Equipment lease stayed the same, and grant match was decreased down to 0 from 28,500.
help the mayor out. Increase in lighting in that, you've added 2,000 foot of runway there that needs some lights and everything, and then the cost of operating them too. So I know that area needed the increase.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
We're looking forward to it. We're ready to go.
Have you had a chance to look over the budget for the airport?
I have one the mayor proposed.
Okay, all right.
We had an opportunity.
And at this point, I guess I'll just take that and we'll live with it, or I'll be back here asking for some changes. I've gone through that drill already, so I know how that's done.
Mr. Mayor, I wonder why you have a 1.9% change
As opposed to 2%?
as opposed to 2%.
Because there is 26 pay periods, and I tried to make it easy on Leanne so she didn't have extra cents. So you have, so it was an even $392 each pay period as opposed to $392 and some change. I don't know what I did.
Mr. Shock, Councilor Shock, this is the first job I took, and got a raise before I even got there.
What was your first name again, sir?
Ed,
Ed.
and it's Nagle.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a long A, Nagle.
So discussion amongst the council.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
The trolley, does it stay at the airport or does it stay at the person's house that drives it?
I think it stays at Mr. Sturm's.
Whoever you're asking about?
The trolley. Have you seen it at the airport?
No.
Okay, then it probably stays at Mr. Sturm.
Okay.
How do we know anything about that?
Do we have a budget for that?
Phase liability.
Yeah, what all expenses do we have? Just the insurance?
It's our highest insured vehicle.
That's all.
We need to have a budget for that, don't we? Don't we need to talk to him about that? I mean, it's city property. And I was just wondering, you know, we don't have what he takes in, what goes out, or anything like that. And I was just wondering if we couldn't get that information when we're going through the budget process. If you could get that for us, I would deeply appreciate it anyway, to find out what the expenditures are and
I don't think he ever turns
what the
any
income is.
any
I was just saying,
expenses
do we have,
I really don't wanna go there.
do we have any other expenses for that beyond the insurance?
Supposedly. Brian takes the donations in, and with that, he maintains the trolley and fixes it up. But he does not provide records.
And our only expense is the liability insurance, correct?
Yeah,
Is there any other expenses that we've incurred?
not that I know of.
I think it's rather an asset to our community from the standpoint
It's unique.
of transporting people back and forth, shuttling for Bacon Fest and various activities. So so, you know, I'm,
Well, I think it's a good thing, too. But we seem to have lost control of it. That concerns me.
I don't think we ever had control of it. I think it's always been run that way. It was Brian's idea to buy it, I think, when he saw it, and he thought, wouldn't this be great for Delphi? And I think he put it on his credit card, actually, and bought it that way.
I think
And
three
then
people purchased it.
Did they?
From the city of Delphi and,
Lynn Corson.
Lynn Corson and Brian Stern.
Lynn's paid the tires, I paid the gas and did the truck before, you know, it's just kind of volunteer people putting stuff in to maintain it.
Now, the airport donation line, so income coming in for the trolley is supposed to go to that airport donation line. But if he's got maintenance, whether it's oil, changing the oil, or transmission fluid, or tires, or repairing something, then he takes that out of his donations.
Well, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but it just seems like, I can't imagine that that's like the way it should be done. Has the State Board of Accounts ever addressed that, or do they even know?
A couple of years back, they did,
What'd they say?
they asked for an accounting
Where'd that go?
of, I don't have one.
But if we executed a lease with Mr. Stern where he was to do all the maintenance, the city, I mean, we could put the same stipulations that we've been operating under since it's been around.
I'm just concerned when it goes to Burlington and other places like that, and the liability aspect of it. I don't wanna see the city get in trouble.
Well, we're insured.
But then my house insured doesn't mean I wanna see it burned down.
Well, I understand, but I'm just saying, we are fully insured on that, so.
Okay.
I mean, if I leave it parked at the courthouse and don't use it, something can happen to it.
Yeah.
If we park it and make it a display, something can happen to it.
Right.
So the insurance is gonna cover it, so I think it's been extremely good for the community for it to be out and to be seen. And it served a purpose. And not every city or small city or town has something like that,
No.
so.
It's unique.
And we have a willing participant, which is probably the number one.
He's good at it, knows a lot of history.
Yeah.
I also think Brian probably has tons of paperwork in lots of different piles and areas, and he's just not the most organized is a good word, yes. Yes.
So beyond the trolley, is there anything in the department that proposed council desires to see changed?
The upgrade in the lighting, is that what the extra $1,000 is for?
Correct.
It's from LED, regular light to LED light?
Oh, no. That's, it was based off of how much money we had spent. About halfway through the year, we'd spent about $3,400 for a line item that had $6,000 in it. Oh, sorry, I'm in electric, not lighting supplies. So we did encumber funds from 2017 to 2018. But the airfield lighting supplies line item seems to have increased expenditures than what we appropriate. Back in 2013, we spent $3,900, then $3,500, then $800, then $5,500, then $400, and then $2,000 about halfway through this year. So there have been years where we spent significantly more than what was appropriated.
Okay.
But yes, the increased number of lights due to the length of the runway is one of the elements of that, but another is just that stuff's expensive, and we seem to spend money out of that line item frequently.
Okay.
Not relating to the budget, but since you're here, have you seen, with the runway extension, have you seen additional traffic? Or is it so that?
It's not done at this
Not
point.
done
We're
yet.
still,
Okay.
we have to stripe and
Well, before the FAA will approve it, it'll have to be, the lights will have to be in and properly marked out. So right now, it's
It's just
quote,
there?
not supposed to be used. So I see a lot of planes run over them chevrons out there. But like I say, someone coming in from another airport would probably see that and not use that stretch. So at this point, it's hard to say.
I just didn't know where.
It's still, you know, on all the aviation publications, everything, it would be still listed as a 2,900-foot runway until we get all these rules. And the FAA works at glacial speed.
Are there any other line items within the airport department that council would like to discuss?
You have 100% increase in line item 3420. Is that due to upgrading?
No, that's
Upgrading?
That's not, over the last 5 years, however long it's been that the city of Delphi has been pursuing FAA grants, we will continue pursuing FAA grants. But the one we will be pursuing next year is a reimbursement on our T hangar. So the city of Delphi has already made expenditures towards the T hangar. So if we're awarded the FAA grant, we've already made our match. So the FAA and the state will make their contributions, and we've already made ours.
Okay.
But the Board of Aviation Commissioners over the last year, 2 years, has really tried to focus on the assets that we have and maintaining them. The terminal's been in rough shape for a while. I think they got a new roof on it earlier this year, or at least repaired the roof earlier this year. So a lot of those miscellaneous upgrades would be made to the terminal building, because it's
Restrooms need upgraded.
restrooms, the break area in the back.
Yeah, there's a great area in the back that's totally unused right now just because it needs to be refurbished.
Well, I was just wondering,
Yes, sir. No,
you know,
yeah.
that,
I'm gonna give you a bit of information too, because on this airport hangar loan that we took out, because we already have had expenses involved, closing costs and everything with the hangar loan, that there is a special funding for this, and we'll get money back on it. But it is my understanding that it was agreed that this money that was coming back was going to pay down on the loan, on the principal of the loan.
Not sure, but it sounds like a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm all right with the figures on the airport.
Any other discussion from the council?
That looked good to me also.
All right. Mr. Nagel, I appreciate it, sir. Hopefully, council gets to see a lot more of you here.
Yes, I hope so. Want to get my feet on the ground a little bit out there. I'd like to invite out there to walk around and look what's there.
Good idea.
Appreciate it, sir. Thanks for coming.
Sure.
We'll move next to police department budget. Chief Moyle?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to like to say thank you to the mayor for allowing me to continue working and serving in this capacity. I've enjoyed this time and have really appreciated the opportunity to be able to serve this community. As you can see, my budget is before you. I'm not sure where you'd like to start, but I'll go ahead and kind of give you an outlay where I'm at. Our officers work a common 12-hour shift. One of the rotating shifts has 2 officers working simultaneously on on an evening shift. The other rotating 12-hour shift has an officer working that shift, that's Officer Kent. He works his 12-hour shift basically alone. We do not have a shift partner for him. The only potential backup is Officer Kent has the state police, conservation officers, if they're working, and the county sheriff's office that might be available or nearby. And Officer Kent finds himself frequently relying upon the assistance of the Florida Police Department, which is quite a distance away. But they come and they assist him as much as possible in every situation they possibly can. And as well, we reciprocate by going over there too. So we kind of balance that out. A situation creates a substantial risk for officer safety on a regular basis and routine situation. Our stats have increased steadily, and we are on a trending upwards position in our statistics, both in what we're seeing on the street and the arrests that we're making. Calls for service are trending upwards. Again, as I have before, I propose that since the city of Delphi no longer pays $50,000, we stopped paying a couple of years ago to the 911 center, that this money be utilized to provide the police department with another full-time police officer. This will bring our total number of full-time officers to 8, allowing us to have 2 officers every rotating 12-hour evening shift. Adding another officer will increase officer safety, increases the effectiveness of the police department and services available to the community, increases accountability and work production, increases the effectiveness and safety and productivity of officers and the perception of the public security, reduces the need for part-time expenditures, and also the liability to the city by properly staffing all of our night shifts. The $50,000, you remember, had been previously given to another agency, but can now and could then also been used to provide public safety and the effectiveness of the police department. I'm asking for that. That is a big portion of my funding that I'm asking for, and I would appreciate careful consideration of that. This year, I also need to purchase a new vehicle. The police vehicles are now anywhere between $26,000 and $27,000. We no longer can get the $19,000 or $20,000 police cars we used to be able to get from GM. We're going to have to be looking to Ford or Chrysler or Dodge to get our new vehicles, and those are substantially more expensive. Chevrolet does make a vehicle, but it again is within that price range, and I don't see that it has a big advantage, but at any rate, we're looking for that. I need that. I did not get a new vehicle last year, and in order to be able to complete the project successfully, I'll be needing to use probably about $5,000 to $7,000 from the garage and motor that may be left over from that fund, and I expect to have that much left over in garage and